So we're gonna pin this comment to the top so everybody knows what's going on. And while people are trickling in, I'm gonna just start diving into the general reading, both from the Reiki recap, and then I'm gonna pull some cards for additional support for us. Today's Reiki that I sent out to the followers that have requested to be a part of that collective was very much focused on what's going to happen with the future, the particularly political government issues that's big on everyone's minds, which is understandable. And basically I've been getting information about this topic since the start of the year, actually. And it feels like it's time to share the information. So I always like to think of the tarot readings as not a predictor of the future, but advice for how to best prepare your energy for what's to come. So it's not so much about like this is set in stone, because we all have so much free will that the future is malleable, but it is about, hey, if you want to prepare yourself for the best possible outcome, these are the things that you want to look at and you want to do and you want to heal in order to make the most of what's to come in the future. So in regards to politics, the biggest message that I've been getting since January 2020 is that we are currently in a cycle where we are learning that we are in charge of our own power and we are in charge of our own future. So this whole year, and this election in particular, is all about really making sure that we're integrating that lesson. So as you've seen, like, we as the people have started rising up and getting our voices heard and telling people what we want. But because that is coming from a place of discontent with our current political leader, for most of us, I don't know the political standing of everyone on this, but if you are feeling that unrest, the message behind our current environment is that that's not going to stop. The fight for your rights and the fight to get your voice heard and the fight to have your own power is not going to stop no matter who is in office. And I think that's the reason why we didn't have some glowing, beautiful, perfect candidate show up this year, because we are being taught that we are no longer in a place where we should be expecting some paternal father figure to come in and clean up all the mess and sweep everything away for us. We are not children. We are in charge of our own destiny. And this year is all about teaching us that. It's all about really showing us that we have to do the work and we have to get our voices heard and we have to ask for what we want and we have to take action to defend that. We can't expect someone to come in and do it for us. So if you want to affect the energy of the upcoming election, the best advice that I have for everyone is that the better that we learn and integrate that lesson and know that we're going to continue to keep doing that fight no matter who is in office, the better the chance is that we'll have an easier leader to deal with when things move forward. So essentially what I'm feeling in the energy right now is if we as a collective, as a complete energy, are ready to step into that power and fight for what we want no matter who's in office and not expect someone to come in and be perfect and clean the mess up for us, then we will likely be given a leader who has a better energy for what we want to shift and change. But if the majority of the population is thinking to themselves, oh, I just want to sit back and relax while someone else comes in and takes over, then we're going to be given a leader that forces us to want to fight. So the best thing that you can do is continue to take action, continue to fight for the causes that you believe in, continue to show up and fight in whatever way works for you. It doesn't mean that we're all like on the front lines of a protest or, giving all of our money away to these causes. It's what is calling out to you to be able to show up and make the change that you want to see in the world. And it doesn't mean waiting for the perfect person to be in office to do those changes for you. That is no longer where we're at. We're leading into the age of Aquarius. So just like the hair song said, we are actually coming into this place where all of those like Aquarian mindsets come into play, where we are the ones that are supposed to take the power. It's power to the people, guys. It's all those hippy dippy concepts that are becoming a reality. But we got to realize that if we want all that peace and love and community and a collective of powerful people, we have to change the current system. We can't decide that we are going to, again, let someone be in power to clean everything else up for us. So our tendency right now and the energy is to be like, oh, cool. Like, I want someone to come in and be in power and clean up the messes. And then I want power when it comes to like the good, easy stuff. Like, I don't want to like give over my power for the stuff that I want. I just want to give over the responsibility for the things that are hard. And we can't do that anymore. We have to be willing to take responsibility for everything in our lives, everything in our culture, everything in our political environment. And again, that looks different for everyone, but the best thing that I can boil it down to is, if you want the election to go whatever way you're leaning, the best possible energy you can bring into the next couple months is, how can I show up for what I believe in? How can I keep fighting? And how can I make sure that that's going to be how I plan to continue action even after November, no matter who is in office? Because we are in charge of our own destinies, and we cannot take that power and place it in the hands of any political leader, even if we had another glowing, amazing candidate like many of us are missing now. It's still not their responsibility to clean up the mess and to make the decisions for us and to have our voice speak through them. We all have our own individual voices, and that's what 2020 has been teaching us, and that's why it's been so intense leading up to this election, because the universe is really trying its best to help us integrate that lesson and continue on with. My battery's dying. That's probably not the best thing for this reading. This is what we're looking at for the energy of politics is, can you take responsibility and maintain your stance of power that we've already started to see and establish during 2020? And yeah, like there's a feeling of like wanting to rest eventually. And like, it will get easier as we integrate this. We will attract leaders that are easier to get our wants and our needs from. But ultimately, it's not going to be something where you lay down your sword. We have a cat involved in this reading. It's not going to be something where you lay down your sword at any point, because it's your right. It's your right to fight. So the energy and advice that we have in regards to that energy is, the energy is the Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles indicates that there is some grief, some stress, some strife, I'm sure some of you are feeling it even hearing this, that we're not going to have someone come in and clean up all the mess for us. There's that feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is going to keep going. But it's a matter of like, if you have fully owned up to your responsibilities and decided that you're okay with being in charge of your own destiny, then again, we will attract leaders, and we will attract circumstances in which that becomes an easier thing to do. Whereas if you are not willing, if you just want someone to clean up your mess, it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Someone's not gonna come in and clean your mess. They're either gonna come in and make the mess worse, or they're gonna come in and be more amendable for what it is that you want them to hear from you. So that's the energy that we're moving into. And then the advice we're moving into is the Death card, which is basically telling us that if we are willing to let go of the old way of being, if we are willing to completely shake up what we thought life was before, then we can be totally transformed and we can be reborn. But it's definitely something that is going to, it's an energy of, there's so much energy coming in right now, guys. Everybody's having conflicting emotions about this. It's okay. We're gonna be okay no matter what. This lesson is going to be learned, and we are going to move into that age of Aquarius where the people have a much stronger voice. The election is just gonna make it either a harder battle or an easier battle. But ultimately, we cannot stop this train from getting to that station of getting to the point where the people's voices are heard and that we don't expect someone to come in and clean up the mess, because we are willing to do the work. So be willing to do the work, no matter what, no matter who's in office, no matter what the political environment feels like. And again, like I've been saying this over and over again on social media, you got to take breaks too. Like, you can't be constantly fighting no matter who you are. You have to take care of your self-care, but you can't just get to a point. This isn't going to be something where we get to a point and we're like, cool, that was done, now I can go back to life as usual. It's just a matter of like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So take your breaks, take your rest, fight for the causes that you believe in, because you can trust that there's going to be someone for every cause. Things are going to get done. You don't have to tackle it all. So what resonates for you? What is my sleep timers are coming on, and I accidentally, out of habit, hit the 15-minute marker. So it's going to do it in 15 minutes again. But technical difficulties, Mercury's in shadow period. So hopefully that clarifies some energy and maybe gives you a little bit of optimism, because ultimately it is a good thing. It's a good thing that we are taking back our power and that we are letting our voices heard and we were becoming in charge of our own destiny. So with that in mind, if you want to ask a personal question, you're going to click the question mark button to the right of that comment box, and that is going to let me know that there are people that are asking questions, and I'm going to do individual readings. So, this is a free tarot reading, guys, so as long as you don't mind the collective hearing what your answer is, ask away. The world is changing for the good. Old world is dying. New earth is being co-created. I love that. I knew what you were going to say, and then the word co-created made it so much more resonant. So that's a great point. So the world is changing for the good. The old world is dying. The new earth is being co-created. It's not being created. It's not being created for us. It's not being done to us. It's co-created. So what energy do you want to bring into this new world? What things do you want to focus on and bring into this, because it's being co-created right now. And for astrologically, if you know anything about what's going on, there's a lot of shifts that are happening until December 21st. So December 21st of this year is when a lot of the things that are currently feeling on pause or in upheaval are going to be, they're going to start falling into place. I'm not going to say that they're going to be resolved, but things are going to start moving forward in the way that we felt like we hadn't been able to before. So do your brainstorming now, like between now and the election, between now and December 21st as well. Ask yourself what it is that you want to see in this new world, because we are creating it in this very moment as we speak. And cards are falling out, which usually means that those have messages for us too. So let me get the cat off my lap, plug in my phone so it doesn't die, and I'll let you know what those cards are. So, in regards to co-creation, we have 3 cards that came out. One of them, the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is all about perfecting your particular mission, your particular craft. So again, this is going back to the idea that you don't have to fight for causes that aren't in your wheelhouse. Show up and be an ally for everyone that you believe in any part of their cause, but get behind the ones that are really, really resonant for you, because we all are our own little spiders making our own little webs, and there's enough to go around. There's enough of this change-making energy to go around. So don't feel like you have to do it all. Find your specialty, get behind it, and trust that there are other change makers that are doing the same thing for the causes that you can't get to. And then the other card that comes up is the Daughter of Swords. Daughter of Swords is all about intellect and looking at things from a less emotional standpoint. So it's all about get behind things with your emotions, figure out what action you're going to take through your intellect. Don't let your emotions drive you into action. If you're still being super emotional about something, sit back, regulate your emotions, and then move forward from a place of clarity. And the final thing, which is such a beautiful card to have come out from our co-creation, is the Fool. Because the Fool is just a completely fresh start, a new beginning, and there's a little bit of naivety and optimism behind the Fool because it's like, oh, we haven't been here before. And so I want you to bring that into this energy. When it comes to co-creating the universe, like, again, like the overall arcing politics, the cards that we had before feel a little heavier, but it's like, but this is fun. This is fun too. We're co-creating a new world. So what is it that you want to see? How can you be optimistic about what you're bringing into this world and into this earth, and how you're going to transform yourself and others? Oh, one more important thing that I forgot to bring in from the Reiki read. There is also a calling out that if we are going to be willing to come in and look at what we want to change and clean up the messes in the world, you also have to bring that macro idea down to the micro. So make sure that you're looking at the areas in your life where you are expecting someone else to come in and clean up the mess for you. Real talk. So like if you are expecting someone to come in and clean up the messes in your personal life, in your relationships, in your connections, if you're putting the weight of any responsibility on other people, the way that you start to integrate this global shifting energy is to bring it into your personal world first, because that's where we practice for the global collective. We practice in our interpersonal relationships. They are always a mirror to what's happening in the world at large. So if you're not willing to show up and clean up your own messes and claim your own power and not expect someone to take care of you in your personal life, then you aren't quite ready to do that in the world either. So that's another thing that is vital before the election, to make sure that you're taking personal responsibility for the things that you need to clean up and the ways that you claim your power within your small world, so that you can then claim your power within the larger world. Okay. So we don't have any questions coming up, guys. If this is like last week and we don't have anyone asking any questions, then we'll end early. But I'm gonna just go ahead and riff a little bit longer. We're gonna pull a goddess. We'll pull a goddess for this political energy. So if you don't know, if you're not following closely on social media, I spent the first part of quarantine making my own goddess deck. So this is the Total Betty Goddess deck, and it is a oracle deck of goddesses that is made in the image of 90s icons, because I feel like the goddesses wanted a little makeover. So we have a lot of 90s icons representing the goddesses, and it kind of makes it, someone told me, like, it makes it a little easier to understand. It's kind of like an intro to the goddesses because you have like a reference point with your 90s energy. So these are for sale on the website and on my Etsy. There's a link in the bio if you're interested. There's also a guidebook that's a coloring book if you want to know what all the cards mean, in my opinion, and you want to color a little bit just to entertain yourself. Feel free. So calming it down, bringing it into what goddess energy do we need to help support us in between now and the election. I want to cry at this, guys. Our card is Venus, played by Alanis Morissette. And the subtitle for the Venus card is Find Beauty in Everyone. So, yeah. That's a beautiful energy to bring into how are we preparing ourselves for this change? How can we love the collective? How can we bring this Venus? Wow, guys, so many emotions. I wasn't expecting to get that emotional about it. But how can we bring this loving, beautiful, creative Venus energy into all of our relationships and all of our interpersonal connections? Yeah, how can you even love your enemy? It's a hard one. But if we're going to co-create a new reality, we want it to be filled with love. So if we can do that, we can do that. It's not if. We can do that. We're capable of that, and we have been practicing for that. And yeah, the way that we keep showing up for our fellow human beings is vital. It's going to be a huge part of this new earth. But it also means, again, recognizing where you're not showing up for your fellow human beings in your interpersonal world. You got to take care of your own stuff. You got to clean up your own mess. And then from there, you can show up as a light for the other people around you. you're not in charge of cleaning up their mess either. That's their responsibility. But you can show up with your energy and alignment and love and unity. This is the way. Yes. I love this, guys. If you want to support these readings that I'm doing every other week on Instagram Live, 2 options. I know that money is not available for everyone. It may not be in your wheelhouse to donate. You can donate to Venmo at Michelle Shea, the same name as my Instagram handle. Any little bit tells me that you're voting to say yes, like I want to see more of this. Thank you too, Amanda. And if that's not possible for you, I cannot tell you how important it is to have word of mouth, especially now as a small business who's, personally quarantined. The word's getting out only via social media. So if you enjoy these readings, if you enjoy any of my services that I've provided to you over the years, talk about it. Just, post a story or something on your feed that either talks about this reading. I plan on reposting it if my phone allows, or just, share why it is that you follow me, so that if anybody else needs a little more of this message, they can follow as well. Thank you guys for being here, and I'm gonna try and save this and send it off into my feed, and I hope that you have a lovely, lovely, lovely rest of your week. And again, integrate those energies. We have the power, we're in charge. Take charge, take that power, integrate it into your personal life, and we will make a great change in the world at large. Thank you guys.